Unit 6, Hair and Fiber, Section 6, Identification of Fibers. Alright, so this section is going to be talking about how we actually test different types of fibers and how we are able to make an identification based on those. So, a couple ways. First is microscopic observation. That's going to go back to all the stuff we learned about in terms of the weave of the fabric and being able to look at it that way. The burning is going to be, if you've ever burned something, you know that certain things burn different colors. Well, this is the same thing. The color of the flame actually can tell us a lot about what type of fabric it is. The color of the smoke, thickness of the smoke, and then the residue left behind. Some fabrics will burn completely. Cotton, for example, will leave virtually nothing behind. Whereas burning, rayon or burning polyester, polyester is going to leave a little puddle of goo. So that tells us a lot too. Thermal decomp. This is when you basically kind of melt the fabric or the fiber, whatever it is. You try to melt it down to its basic components and back to the monomers. And if you remember anything about chemistry, specifically organic chemistry, talking about macromolecules, you know that a mono means one, and mer means part. So these are the basic building blocks of whatever particle it is. Chemical tests. Solubility, and then general decomp as well. Solubility, obviously, will it disassociate in water, and things like that. Alright, also, we can test for the density of the material, and lots of different ways to do that. Refractive index. So this is measuring how light moves through the substance, and you can measure this on the solid fabric. You can also, if it's possible to cause it to disassociate, you can look at it in solution, things like that. Fluorescence also is when you treat the fabric with different types of light and see how that light reacts with the fabric. Another big clue when we do fabric testing is understanding the different types of dyes that are used, and this is what your lab is based on, which is understanding how the dyes that are in the fabric react with new components that are added. So chromatography is a separation of dyes, and then this is the one that our fabric lab focuses on. The way a fabric accepts a particular dye is going to be totally different. So what may look like just a white fabric, when treated with different dyes, it will react differently. Alright, so this is a couple names. FTIR is a way of basically just shine light on the fabric, and then the way that the light is absorbed and what light is reflected can tell you a lot about the fabric. Optical microscopy is where you put it under magnification using different types of light. And then gas chromatography, if you are familiar with gas chromatography at all, this is when you burn the sample and then see how it reacts and what lights it gives off and things like that, what wavelengths. Pyrolysis, actually, looking at that real quick here. Pyrolysis. Pyro comes from the Greek word which means fire, and lysis comes from the lys, L-Y-S, comes from the Greek word which means to break down or to destroy. And so this is the process of using fire to break things apart. Look at that little lesson in Greek. When we collect fiber evidence, obviously if it's whole clothing, you're going to bag it, and it's bagged individually in paper bags. The attempt homicide that I worked on in Elgin, we actually, as the jury, we actually got the evidence, and this was one of the pieces of evidence that was submitted, so we actually got to look at the clothes that were cut off the victim that were soaked in his blood. So they're always going to be double bagged. And if you are picking up smaller fabrics or smaller fibers, you're going to be doing tape lifts. and you'll lift it. It'll hopefully cling to the adhesive, and then you'll put that. You'll fold that in on itself, or you'll put it on a white kind of piece of cardstock, kind of to trap the fiber in there. Any fibers that are selected without tape are going to go into a basically an envelope, and you can make those in the field if you don't have an envelope with you. All right, just an example of a court case. So read it, and this is the last slide. So last set of notes for fiber evidence. Hope you liked it. Yay! Oh, and hey, it's Halloween. Happy Halloween.